Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly video. I'm here again with Heleniq. Hi, Heleniq. How are you?
Hi, Gemma. Really happy to be back here again. I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Good, good. Really good. Thank you. Really happy to start here again to share with you and with everyone.
Yeah, it's a great subject today. One of the biggest problems a lot of us have, online, all the social media, all the tech changing. Really excited to hear what you have to say today about choosing the right communication channels for your business and for your projects. Very exciting topic.
Yeah, I'm really happy to share it with you.
Great. So I wanted to start us off by just sharing that I think my experience working with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, it definitely is a big challenge, this subject. So it's lovely to have you here and to get your take on it. And if someone's struggling with this, you really want to tune in and hear what Gemma's saying, but then also maybe you can reach out to her because she'll be able
Yeah,
to
sure.
actually help you make these decisions. But today we're going to cover it in a kind of general way. So when we talk about communication channels, Gemma, what do you actually mean by that?
Yeah, well, channels is every way that we use to communicate with our customers or prospects. For example, it can
Yeah.
be in social media, it can be the Twitter, Instagram, even WhatsApp. So all the communication channels that we have, social media, but also a store is as a channel because you communicate in the store, the physical store. So everywhere
Yeah.
that where you can share and communicate with the customer is a channel.
Right. So we're talking about things like Twitter. Is that right?
Yeah, LinkedIn is
Um,
another channel,
LinkedIn,
and a
Facebook,
digital magazine will
Instagram.
be, and digital magazine will be also a channel. The
Okay. Now we're talking,
newspaper. So
right. Are we talking just online now, or do we need to think also about offline channels
no,
of
offline
communicating?
is the same. In offline is like I told you, the stores. When you go to one store, you can use it as a channel also. It's a touch point, but it's also a channel because you can communicate in there, and also in a newspaper or magazine. It's a channel
Okay.
to
Can
communication.
you
The
give us an
TV is another channel.
example? Yeah, maybe give us an example of a kind of business that would be able to use online and offline as an example so we all know what we're talking about.
Well, for example, a supermarket. For example,
Right,
they are offline and they
right.
use channels to communicate online and they can communicate in many ways. And but also they have a store online and they communicate online and they communicate in social media also.
Excellent example. Very good. Okay, so if people don't have an offline business or a brick and mortar business, they would be doing most of that choice online. Where do they put their
Yeah.
content? Where do they show what they do?
Yes.
So, what kind of things do we need to take into account when we're choosing the best channel?
But to choose the best channels, we need to do two things. First, we need to define what kind of market we want to reach, because not
Hmm.
every country communicates in the same way. For example, if
Right.
you work with Russia, they don't use LinkedIn too much, or if you work with US, they don't use for as channel of communication WhatsApp that much. So the country where you want to work is really important to know the trends in this country because every country
Right.
works different, and also to know really good the target of your customer, to know your buyer persona. Because even if there are many people, for example, with 30 years old, but not all the 30 years old behave the same. It's not the same if you want to reach a 30 years old that is studying and is doing a doctorate or a PhD, or you want to reach a 30 years old that is doing sports, or you want to reach a bartender. So you need to know what kind of people you want to reach because they don't communicate in the same way and they don't communicate in the same channels. And also it depends about your product because it is also completely different. If you are talking about business and you are talking with companies, for example, if you are in the Netherlands, LinkedIn is the best because everyone is there. Everyone doing business is there. But if you have, for example, let me think, if you are an artist and you want to share your paintings, you need to be in a place like Instagram because it's more visual. There are images, but there are also another channels that are specific. They are not the ones that everyone use. For example, if you are a photographer, there is a web page called 500 Pixels where you can not only share your photos, but you can sell them also. So there are two kinds of channels: the one that everyone use and the one specifics for your area of expertise. So you need to really know what do you want to get from it, and then look the right channels for you. And sometimes the channels, you don't need to be in all the channels. You need to be in the ones that are more appropriate for you. And sometimes you need to, for example, write to in a magazine can be a channel for you. You don't need to have your own blog. You need to define how do you want to reach the people? What is your area? What is your expertise? Because you need to know all those details in order to choose the best ones. Some companies, they think they need to be in every place. They need to be in Instagram, in Twitter, in Facebook, but it's not necessary. For example, I'm not, my company, Define, is not in Facebook because my target don't, is not there. So I don't need to be there. And when you choose more channels, it's not better. Sometimes it's more work and you are doing it wrong because you try to be everywhere, so you don't have time to do it properly in everywhere. So you need to define what are the best for you. What do you want to get? What results do you want? Because another thing important is to know why do you want to use these channels for? Because maybe one channel you want to use it to sell, and maybe another channel you want to use it to create a big brand and to get the people to know you. So it depends also why you want to use a channel. You use it in a way or in another way. So there are many aspects that you need to take into account and to create a strategy for choosing the channels. Sometimes people just jump and start creating accounts, but this is not the way to work. First, you need to create the strategy, know your customers, know what do you want to do, and then you can choose the channels and start working.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
very big wow. I tell you, I've
Yeah.
heard many people share about this in many different ways, but what I loved about what you gave us was the very important distinction about different countries and which ones they're using more. And if you don't have that information, it's very difficult to actually manage and evaluate whether your strategy is working. So reaching
Mhm.
out to someone like you, I think would be so important for people to be able to get that information because it's also not so uh, available, to know who's using
Yes,
which platforms,
true.
and it needs a little bit of study.
Mhm.
So one other question that comes up, which is also something you spoke about, but I want to go a bit deeper into it, is this chicken or the egg kind of dilemma that people have. So you either, like you just said, you don't go out there and put everything up as a social media kind of visibility everywhere and you just open
Mhm.
accounts everywhere. Now everybody jumped onto Clubhouse,
Yes,
and then
true.
those who don't have, iPhones didn't. So I'm stuck in that group. But now I'm also wondering, do I really want another platform? But either way, whatever
True.
you're choosing, you're choosing. Okay. But I know my audience is all around, as many people might know their audience is in
Mhm.
different places. But now you
Yes.
say something about whether you should rather actually find out who you want to target and then go to those platforms. So here's my question
Yes.
about the chicken or the egg. What comes first? Because sometimes many of us have done this. We've gone on to 3, 4 channels. And let's say we think our audience is there, or we thought our audience was there enough to try it. And now, after some time, you analyze and you see, okay, well, they're not really my audience, or
Mhm.
I want to change what I'm doing. So now I need to kind of move away. What what should you said the other one should start first, that we should rather know who do we want to target and then go and find them in that place.
Mhm.
But let's say you've already set it up like this and you have people that you're attracting. Do you think it's advisable, is it possible to actually design products or services for the people that are already attracted to your work? Or should you rather do it the other way only, where you really design the product and service and then go and find people? What do you think about that?
It depends also on the kind of company you have and the kind of product you have. For example,
Yes, yes,
what I do is
sure.
marketing and I do online strategy and communication and neuromarketing. So for this is what I do. So I cannot create other products for other people because this is what I do and
Right,
what I like to
right.
do. So you can do different things. It depends. For example, in my case, if I create for example, an account on Facebook, and people start reaching me there because they want me to work in their social media, what I can do is say, okay, I don't do social media, but I can start a collaboration with an expert on social media, and then all the people that reach me, I can work through this person that knows about social media. I can create another kind of collaboration. But if, for example, in my case, usually the people don't reach me asking me for other things that I do because they know what I do. So I don't know if this can happen. It depends the kind of company or the kind of product, but you can always evaluate it. What the people is asking you, you are not doing it, but you have a lot of demand, and you know how to do it. Maybe you can create another line of product, and you can start working on it. But the
Yeah.
other thing that you can do if you open an account, for example, in Facebook, and then after 1 year you see that you are investing a lot of time working there, but you don't have results. For example, imagine that you want to start working in Russia, and because you always work on LinkedIn, you continue looking for people in Russia on LinkedIn, and it's getting hard because some people use it, but it's not the most common platform. It's okay. You don't know the market. Sometimes you just start working, but then what you can do is just close the account or deactivate. Not close it, but deactivate it if it's not working, because most people is afraid to lose. So when you have created something, it's like, oh, I invest a lot of time there, I work a lot, I don't want to lose it. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but you are not losing it. The thing is, you are investing a lot of time and a lot of effort, a lot of hours, and all the hours that you are working is money. It's money that you are investing and you are losing. That you can invest maybe in TikTok. I don't know, maybe for your product is good TikTok and you can reach the people. So it's not bad to close an account. It's not to close one profile because it's okay. If you didn't know and you start opening 20 accounts in all the platforms, you can always evaluate the data and see, okay, I'm having the results that I have. It's been useful to invest all these hours here, all this time here, because also to create a strategy for all the platforms takes a lot of time. So sometimes it's better to say, okay, I quit this platform, I quit this, it's not for me. I'm going to work in this other, in another one, and just focus in the ones that are working for you.
Yeah, this is so valuable. And just even another reason why you need someone on board to really guide and support you and strategize with you, because it actually
Hmm.
does require some testing and to see, is it
Yeah.
really worth it staying here, or do I just start again? How do I actually make the right move, in the business as you're
Hmm.
scaling? So that's very helpful. And I think maybe we can also finish off just giving people a little bit of structure. If I was to
Hmm.
ask you about the very specific aspects that they need to take into account to understand their audience or to speak to their audience, could you give us maybe like three tips? Three
Yeah,
tips
well,
around most important aspects to take into account for the audience.
yeah, the first and most important that people need to understand, the online marketing and communication is not just posting online. So the biggest part of the marketing is to investigate and to know. You need to know and to investigate because otherwise marketing is not working. If you start posting just because you want to post, it's not going to work. So you need to know that you are going, before you start doing marketing online and communications, you need to invest a few months to investigate and to know first, what do you want to offer? How do you want to be shown? This is really important. Then you need to know your customer, your target. Not your target that your product can be only sell to few people, but the people that you want to talk to, because then everyone can use the product. But you need to talk to someone. For example, if you are Spotify, they have their target, and everyone can listen to music. From 3 years old, they are listening to music, or smaller, to 20 years old. But they have a target, and they have a kind of people that they talk to. So you need to know to who do you want to talk. First, to know the way you are going to talk, the words you are going to use, and the way you are going to communicate. And second, to define which platforms you want to use. So when you know your customer and you know the area where you are going to work, then you can say, okay, this is my product. I want to communicate in this way to these people. Where is these people? So then when you know where they are, you talk in the way you define to talk, in the platform you define to talk. Because otherwise you are not going to reach your target. So it's really important. If you want to talk, for example, to teenagers in Spain, don't go to Facebook because they are not there. And if you open an account, you can do everything you want. You can be the best communicator in the world, but you are not going to reach your targets because the teenagers in Spain don't use Facebook. So that is
Yeah,
really important to know who you are going to talk to and where they are in the country you want to work.
yeah,
I think
very
this is the most
important,
important.
very, very important, and also helps people get very specific direction to
Hmm.
what they're trying to accomplish. This,
Hmm.
I know even what my mentor says that social media is the biggest drain on your business performance that ever was. So people get lost in thinking
True.
that's what's actually supposed to be focused on for their business to work. And it's not really true. It's like more the strategy and
True.
how you're using it, and then you're actually doing the work. But a lot of people are lost in this labyrinth. I mean, I spent a long time in that too, like really thinking that was the way you have to build a community, and you have to get, but it really has to be the right kind of people for the services you have. So very great information today on really choosing the right communication channels. And I want to just maybe ask you one last one, sort of quick helpful people. Is there like just general ones that you would say are good platforms for specific industries, just so that we can give people some guidance? You said, let's recap it maybe. You said Pinterest very good if you have artistic or creative work. LinkedIn for you really works well, and it's also good for marketing or business or any B2B type of business. And anything else we should know? What about one or two new platforms, and who do they suit?
Well, but as we said before, also it depends also the country you are to work in. Because if people
That's
from
true,
Russia
very
look
true.
at this, they are not going to be agree with me about LinkedIn, because they use another platform that I don't remember the name they use in Russia. And in China also they use another one. It's like in Russia they don't use Google that much. They have another one. I don't remember also the name now, sorry. But they don't use Google, they don't use another place. So everything is relative, but you need to really, it's important to know in which country you want to work. And then it's easy to understand because you can talk to people and you can do some research and then you know. For example, teenagers in the Netherlands, they use a lot of Snapchat to chat. They don't use WhatsApp to chat between them that much. They use WhatsApp, but no, it's not the main platform. But in Spain, they use more Instagram than Snapchat. So it's the same kind of people, the same age, the same everything, but each country is different. So to say one is difficult. I think the best is to do it if you want to do it personal and if you want to reach, like you said for the public speaking last week, that you need to be authentic. For social media, it's the same. You need to be authentic and you need to know your way of talking to your public. And then when and you know where they are, then that's the platform best for you. It depends in many
Brilliant.
factors.
It depends on so many things, and also on the
Yeah,
countries you're going to be in, and different groups of people use different things. Very, very
yes.
interesting conversation today, Gemma. Thanks so much. And
Thank you very
good
much,
luck to
Lenny.
everybody. I think maybe this week you can say if this is maybe a good exercise that people just think a little bit more carefully about which platform or is maybe not a great communication channel for them, and to maybe reevaluate a little bit somehow. Is anything you would maybe add
Yeah,
to that?
I think this is good. And it's better to
Yeah.
delete one channel that you are not having results than to just be there investing in trying to make something work that is not going to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
advice, Heleniq.
Exactly. Cool. Okay, and then
Okay,
maybe we can
so
also hear from people next week how it went, and looking forward to the next chat with you. Okay, everybody, take care.
yeah, okay. Have a nice week. Bye, Heleniq.
Bye.